Hey everybody, Caesar here, and I've got in front of me my summertime or late spring, summertime, early fall clothing worn and a clothing pack. So all the clothing that I'll take with me on trips during this time. And I actually have two outfits depending on the situation. The big difference will be is that one is below tree line and one is above tree line. So when I'm planning trips in just, the forests and valleys of, Scandinavia, where I'm not going to be going up any mountains, I'll take all this, which I'll get into first. If I'm going into the mountains more central north of Scandinavia, or in Norway, to the west they have mountains there as well. But I live in Sweden, so there's more, below tree line stuff. But when I get into the mountains, then I swap out a few pieces of clothing, which I'll explain in a minute. Now, several months ago on my blog, I broke down my winter, spring, and fall kit. So I'll put links to everything. I plan on doing a short write-up of my all this clothing with weights and all that. So I'll put a link to that below, and then of course I'll put another link to my, if you're interested in seeing my winter, winter, spring, and fall kit. But this clothing sees much more use than my winter, spring, and fall kit simply because of pragmatic reasons. It's that, full-time work, I work full-time and I, have a family, so I'm getting out more in the summertime when I have breaks. Yeah. So I've been incredibly happy with this. It's been evolving and changing over years now, and you'll notice there's a mix of some, higher end, fancier pieces of gear, but that have proven to last. So I thought that I think now it was worth it, mixed in with some, quite affordable, practical pieces of gear. And what I'll do too is I'll talk about, affordable alternatives. That's something that, many people talk about with ultralight. A lot of younger people, like people just, in college, getting into backpacking, they're looking for, students are looking for affordable solutions. So I'll mention a few, things that you could switch out here. But yeah. So I'll jump right into it. Then I'll talk about, the switch above tree line. Yeah. As always, if you have any, questions or feedback or whatever, feel free to post them in the comment section below, and I'll try to get back to you if I have time. Or you can go to my blog and, shoot me an email there, or leave a comment there. Right. Okay. So let's get into it now. Yeah. So to break it down, the vest over here and a few articles of clothing here, that's packed, right? That's going to be packed in my backpack. The rest of it, it counts as my clothing worn. Now, I'm not going to get into shoes, and I'm not getting into rain gear. Those could be whole other videos, and I want to keep this video relatively short. So, forget about shoes and rain gear, but obviously, I always take rain gear. It rains a lot here in Scandinavia. Yeah, but okay. So let's start with all the clothing worn. We have Mountain Laurel Designs gaiters. They're event gaiters. I've had them for years now. Those of you that have been following along with my blog, you'll recognize, several pieces of, things here, and that's a good thing. I also think it's good to kind of when you do updates and show, your gear progression when things survive, that's a good sign. So very happy with those gaiters. Great for a variety of reasons. I was just discussing on the forums over on Reddit, the ultralight, subreddit, that great against ticks, not just for debris, and of course helps to keep your pants, and socks drier if it's raining too. But okay. Trucker cap, that's an affordable thing, easy to find. Go to a secondhand store or a truck stop or wherever and get yourself a trucker's cap. Mesh in the back to keep you, cooler. I prefer black because it dries quicker. And same thing goes for my pants and other articles of clothing. I try to stick with darker clothing or black clothing so it dries. Also, if you are going to be planning a trip to Scandinavia, I learned something the hard way. Bright colors will attract insects, so I would also avoid bright colors. This t-shirt here, this is a merino wool t-shirt. That's a good segue into that t-shirt. It used to be bright cobalt blue. I bought some dye and I dyed it because when I went up into the mountains on a trip, I was attacked by these flies. It was annoying, right? But now that should fix the problem. I talked to some locals and they said, yeah, bright blue attracts this one, nasty fly. So we have merino wool shirt. I got it on clearance. It's been, lasting years. I dyed it and it's been working out great for me. So there's that. Okay. Affordable piece of kit here is a pair of just like track pants or running pants, right? These are Puma running pants. I got these on sale. I got two. This is my second pair. The first pair I actually tried to grind in the ground, but it survived. It got some wear and tear, but then I saw another pair of these pants on sale, and I grabbed them. And the other pair is now like my day hike or wear around the neighborhood, type easy to put on pants, right? So yeah, great pants, nylon outside and mesh on the inside, which is great for not just drying and keeping you cooler, but also stink. I found that pants with like a mesh liner on the inside are great to prevent stink, right? Okay, moving along here, merino socks. These are getting cheaper and cheaper too as merino wool gains popularity, right? But yeah, just pair of merino wool socks. I'll take two. One pair I'll wear, the other pair will be packed, and I can wash that pair in the meantime. Yeah, I also have a pair of merino wool underpants, and it's also good with stink if you care about that. I mean, eventually you're gonna stink anyways, though, depending on how long you're out there, but this helps to delay that inevitability. A pair of generic work gloves. Not only are they good for like a marginal amount of warmth, yeah, but you'll see how they're all like frayed and worn out, and that's because it's great for scrambling if you're scrambling or doing bushwhacking, climbing around on cliffs and in rocks and crap and grabbing onto, and also for processing wood for fire if you're breaking up kindling and branches and stuff. Yeah, there's that. Okay, buff, right? Enough said there, right? Here is a newer acquisition. This is a synthetic polyester hoodie, right? It's a Nike hoodie, and the weight was actually pretty good. I was surprised. I got it on sale. I try to be frugal, and for its weight, it's quite warm. So I really, really like this. Now, easy to explain the switch up when I go above tree line. What I'll do is I'll swap out the hoodie, right? Yoink, and I will add on top of my merino wool t-shirt, I will add a long sleeve synthetic shirt. This is just a Puma synthetic. It's a larger size, so it's easy to wear on top of that t-shirt. Yeah, just a polyester long sleeve shirt. And I have here a hoodie. This is a merino wool zip up hoodie. And yeah, both of those you can find for pretty reasonable price, especially when there's clearances and stuff. If you're patient and you go to sporting goods stores, camping stores, or look online, you can find those things. You don't have to get the Patagonia super expensive stuff. I've never owned Patagonia anything. No offense, to the company or people that use their gear, but that's, an example many people point to as being very expensive. Yeah. So you can, if you're looking for a synthetic hoodie or a merino wool hoodie, they're out there and fairly reasonable price. And the pants too, I don't think there's much of a need to buy like super duper expensive hiking pants, especially if they get torn up on the trail. Okay, now windbreaker. On the opposite end of the spectrum, yeah, Z-Pack's gear is not cheap, but there's a reason for it. It's high quality gear. And I've had this wind shirt for, many years now, and it's great. But you can find, just a nylon wind shirt. It's not going to be as light, right? This thing is ridiculously light, but you can find a pretty light, windbreaker wind shirt out there for a pretty good price. Same thing with a down vest. This is a Bora Gear down vest, which actually, as far as ultralight goes, Bora Gear is pretty affordable. But if you if you can't spring for an ultralight down vest, you can get just like a normal lightweight down vest. I've seen American people that live in America talk about Costco and Sears and these kind of bigger stores have generic or affordable down vests that are not that heavy. So you could definitely, you know, and I like a vest over a puffy jacket or a pullover in the summertime. I find it has more utility because you simply don't need that much warmth. And I'm only wearing this vest at, you know, camp and in the morning and in my sleeping bag if there's that dreaded, you know, cold snap where I'm wearing like all the layers. Which is why above tree line, where the cold snaps are more intense, where it can actually, last year when we were up in the mountains, it got down, it hovered around like freezing. It was like 1 or 2 degrees on a couple of nights. And I was, you know, I had, you know, all my clothing on here, right? So while these 2 layers are heavier than just this one hoodie, right? They provide a significant amount of more warmth, but only at about 100 grams or so, or 110 grams extra weight, which I think is pretty good, right? But okay. So now, what else do I pack? Pretty easy. It's just a merino wool beanie. And then I have a pair of silk, REI silk, what do you call them, long johns or, you know, leggings, right? I used to bring a top too, like I'd bring the silk top, but I've since found that I'm fine sleeping in, you know, either my hoodie or my long sleeve shirt in the sleeping bag, and that's good enough. And I can wash things too while I'm hiking, keep them clean. So I just bring the leggings now. As an affordable switch, if you want to not take silk, you can definitely find a cheapo generic pair of, you know, nylon or polyester leggings. I have a pair that I use, you know, in the winter, just like, you know, to work when it's really cold under my jeans. And it weighs, I think this only weighs 100 grams. A synthetic pair is going to be like maybe 150 grams, you know, maybe 200. And, you know, they're cheap as hell. You can get those for like, you know, $5, or here in Sweden I picked up a set for 100 crowns or something. But yeah, that's it. I said it was going to be a short video. I lied. Sorry. 12 minutes. That's not so bad. But yeah, so here's all my clothing I wear from May to September. If you're, again, looking for specs and weights and all that, check out the description below. So have a good summer hiking. I'm really looking forward to putting all this to more good use. I got a few second hikes planned. I came back from one a few weeks ago, so I'm stoked. It's been a great year so far for hiking, and I hope that will continue this summer. All right, happy trails. Take care.